Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. I'm Clarissa Booker, your holistic health coach and beauty expert. I know how stress can derail your well-being as an entrepreneur. I'll be sharing simple strategies to reduce stress, ditch stress eating, and replace other habits while energizing your day by incorporating more plants onto your plate. With small shifts that can boost your health, happiness, and productivity. Whether you're seeking guidance with weight loss, stress release, or just a moment to recharge, I invite you to join me. Let's optimize your wellness path. So be open to receive because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Let's go.
Hey there, friend. How are you doing today? I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. So today we're going to talk a little bit about restoring balance and just some practical steps to a stress-free holiday. Because you know, when Halloween comes, it is full speed ahead. It is on, okay? And sometimes it can have us feel overwhelmed with expectations, commitments, and just the pressure to keep everything perfect. There is that word again, perfect. Okay, so we're just going to let that go, let stress go, let anxiety go. And one way to do that is just to forget about the perfect stuff right now. Let's just enjoy ourselves, okay? And so just restoring balance and prioritizing our mental well-being during this busy season, okay? Because that's a lot of times what it turns out to be. It's all of love, but sometimes we can just take on a lot of things, right? And we want it to be joyful, right? And so, you know, when you think about work-life balance with family, friends, that personal life, and then just your career and just your business and everything on top of it. And then you put the stressors of the holidays, it can get to be a lot, right? And just like that, out the blue, you could just be going about your day. And as you just take a step back, and you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? And that's okay. We're going to just talk about some simple little strategies and simple tips just to get you going. And then on top of that, it is National Depression Education and Awareness Month. So this is the perfect time. So you see, I did it. I put perfect in there. It's okay because this is going in alignment with the awareness month and all the things. So it is key. It's a good time to talk about, and let's bring this up now because it's the holidays and it can help us go into a more healthier and more balanced way. And this is what we want, right? Yes. All right. Because I know for myself, even a few years ago, I found myself trying to do everything through the holidays, right? Like cooking, planning, organizing, just like all these things. I don't know. I guess I was going through a Wonder Woman thing, right? Don't you miss Wonder Woman? So good, right? But at the end of the day, not real, right? So we have to give ourselves grace, okay? Yes. And so I just realized for myself, I needed to change stuff. I needed to do better. I needed to find a better way to prioritize my well-being. So, you know, I obviously dealt with burnout in my past as well. And so one of the reasons I'm so passionate, right? Because everything affects everything. It's just not one little bracket. You're not just worrying about one thing. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And so this is how our body works as well. It's not just one thing, right, going on within you. If there's one condition, you better believe something else is on the way. So we want to nip it in the bud. Okay. So let's dive into some of this stuff. Okay. And so one thing, setting boundaries. Okay. I talk about this because I believe in it so much. It's okay. Sis, look, you can say no, right? Setting boundaries with family and friends about what you can realistically handle and allow that and stick to it. Even if somebody comes at you, just knowing, look, that's better than just blowing up at somebody because you know what can happen. You ever just like held on to something and then out of nowhere you just like bam and you just started blowing up at them. And so ideally having these boundaries in place, being able to communicate, setting up a space, being like, hey, because you know, if somebody comes at you a certain way, you automatically will get defensive. And so then there's no real conversation that's possibly taking place at that time because everybody's just trying to be heard. Everybody just wants there to be right in whatever the situation is. And ideally, we can just sit down and be able to communicate. And it's easier, right, to do that whenever we're not in a heightened state, right? You know, think about that. So it's much easier for you to have those boundaries in place. I'm like, this is what I need, right? This is what I need for me and my well-being in this moment. And allow that to be true for you, knowing what that is, and stick to it. Okay. It's not about hurting anyone's feelings, but respecting your own. Okay. Respect your own feelings, your own emotions. Because in order for you to get to that place of feel that joy within yourself so that you can feel good, you have to be able to do that for yourself, right? And so making sure you carve out that time for yourself, okay? Whether it's 10 minutes of some kind of meditation, some kind of yoga, or just simply just reading a book, right? I know you probably have a book on your shelf that you haven't opened up yet, or maybe just continue on that last chapter, giving yourself that self time, right? That time for yourself, that self-care, right? Whatever that is, and sticking to it, right? And then whenever you do have that daily routine that you have set up, it will be more accessible to you whenever something does arise. Like even if a memory comes up, and especially around the holidays, right? A memory can come up, maybe a loved one from your past you're thinking about, or maybe there's a loved one not present, or the stress of anything can happen. The list can go on, we know. And because you might be missing their presence, or maybe somebody just ticked you off, right? Whatever it is, we're human and it can happen. So giving yourself that self-care will make it more adaptable for you, okay? Map it out, even if you have to get up early to add it in, right? Find out what works best, okay? Meditation, breath work, doing some form of visualization, even adding some affirmations in there. You might need to be, I am at peace, right? When you're going through your meditation, sitting down and visualizing, even saying the affirmation to yourself so it can get into your subconscious mind, just being in there, feeling it in your heart center, right? Just connecting, going inward, journaling it out, finding a practice that works for you, right? So that you can be successful in each of these days, because these weeks do go by fast, but boy, they can add up on top of each other. Okay. Even doing some movement, sometimes just getting all that excess energy out, right? Whatever that looks like. Because I know sometimes when I feel anxious, just going to the gym, it feels so good. And even doing like some breath work. And there's many, many kinds of breath work out there, right? And it just helps release, right? It really does. You could also pair that with some yoga, right? Loosen up that fascia, okay? And another thing adding into is nutrition, okay? Nutrition can play a big role in how we feel mentally and physically. So trying to incorporate more plant-based meals that nourish your body, and it will keep your energy level steady. So making sure to eat, as they can also affect your mood. So, you know, depending on if you're eating more processed and more snacks and all of that stuff, it's going to affect you differently when you're eating something that's more dense, right? Eating a food that's more nutrient dense is going to affect you differently, okay? Everything is connected, it sure is. And ideally, if you feel isolated, reach out to a supportive community, okay? It can be someone you have currently, or a community, or you can even create your own, right? And it could be on social, it could not be on social, whatever that works, okay? Create your own community if you cannot find one, right? Finding what works for you, okay? And so there are just so many avenues available for that. And don't feel like you have to stay somewhere if their energy is not vibing with you, okay? If it's not in alignment, just go. Excuse yourself. Do what you need to do for yourself. All right, guys? Because you are able to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. And sometimes a simple conversation is what's needed. Sometimes that is what's needed. So having all these simple factors out, just taking that time to plan that. Okay. And making sure you don't overcommit. Okay. So don't feel obligated to attend every single event. or meet every expectations, which goes back to those boundaries and saying no. It doesn't have to be the year of yes, right? You can say no if needed, because that could also lead to burnout. It's sounds good taking action, because we always want to take action, no matter what it is. But still, you have to be able to have those boundaries. Sometimes we're taking on too much, and we want to be able to fall back, okay? To take care of yourself, listening to your body, tuning into yourself, which is another reason meditation is so good, right? Just being able to listen in. Sometimes we're moving so much that we miss messages coming to us, right? You're just on the go and you're just all over the place and your mind is just going a million miles a minute. So coming into meditation, just letting those thoughts pass by and just sitting there, giving that to yourself, your body will thank you and you'll feel so good, right? When it's over, it's okay to decline. Always know that. If it's meant for you, it will still be there, whatever it is, or whoever it is, feeling that out, paying attention to how you feel, right? And when in doubt, talk to God, okay? Ask for guidance, pray, meditate, journal. Ask and you shall receive, right? And here's the thing, you got to be open to receive it and pay attention to the answer. And sometimes you might not like the answer, but it might be what you need to hear. It's no different than you wanting something and you not getting it, and you might be upset at that moment or not get it. Being like, man, I really wanted that thing. And then later on in the future, you'd be like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't get that, right? So yeah, just doing that, making sure you don't skip your self-care, okay? Because sometimes when things get busy, we tend to put ourselves last. But self-care is so important. You know how you be there for your family? Take care of yourself. Sis, take care of yourself. I'm not saying don't take care of your family, but you do need to put yourself up there. You are important. Okay? You can't just run yourself ragged and not be there for yourself, because you're going to drop. Okay? This is facts. So don't ignore your mental health. If you're feeling down or anxious, don't brush it away. We're not in this era of brushing things under the table. You hear me? That's not what's going on here. And we are breaking generational curses. We are changing the trajectory. We know so much now, and we are the change. You're listening to this. So yes, you're a part of this change for the future, to transform the lives of people around you and your family. Yes. So be honest with yourself. Seek support if you need it. There's support out there. There's nothing better than healing, right? And shifting your mindsets, okay? Instead of I need to do it all, or I need to do, I need to do everything, all the things, that all or nothing mindset. Do what feels right for you in the moment. That goes back to listening. Because remember, the holidays are meant to be enjoyed. And you might need to just take a moment sometimes. You might need to excuse yourself and go into another room if you're feeling overwhelmed. Be like, excuse me, I need a moment. Do what you need to do for yourself. You might need to take a 10-minute meditation, right? Sit in there for 15 minutes. You might need to be like, I need somebody to talk to right quick, or take a walk. Because sometimes situations can get intense, okay? Yeah. And just adopting that balanced, mindful approach. It's going to help you feel more at peace, allow you to appreciate the season, because it's about being grateful, right? So finding what that is. Being grateful to yourself for showing up for yourself, okay? Now that's wonderful, because different emotions can hit at any time. They can. And then just reflecting, taking some breaths, asking yourself, did I set healthy boundaries? Without judgment. Did you? And if something happened, reflect on that. Why didn't I? Gotta get curious what your son be like. Where's this coming from, right? What was I thinking? How did I feel in that moment? Write it out. Man, write it out. Talk to someone, Was I able to take my time for my self-care? Did I? How did I feel emotionally when all this was happening today? So before the holiday season, take 15 minutes. Not a lot of time. 15 minutes, that goes by like that. Like a snap. Define and stick to it. What are your personal boundaries for these next few weeks, this quarter we're in? Ooh, it's over, man. What 1 or 2 self-care activities are you going to do? What's a simple, nourishing meal that you're going to partake in? These are wonderful questions for you. Think on it. Give it to yourself. Give yourself the time. Okay? Until next time.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you for listening to my mom's podcast. Leave a 5-star review.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and are feeling empowered in your journey towards a thriving well-being. Also, share this episode to someone you know this will bless, as that's how we spread the message. And don't forget just to take 30 seconds to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts by scrolling down the show page and clicking write a review, because it also helps us grow. I appreciate you taking the time to show us support.